We are learning new information about the new body camera mandate for ICE. A senior official with the Department of Homeland Security tells NBC News all ICE officers and agents will have the body-worn cameras by this Wednesday. The senior official also says ICE officials will get trained on the devices, with the cameras being in use by the end of the month. This policy shift follows 3 high-profile shootings this year involving ICE officers who were not wearing body cameras. I want to bring in NBC News senior Homeland Security correspondent Julia Ainsley, who is behind this reporting for us and joining us now. Julia, what are you learning about the specifics of the body camera policy in terms of when officials are required to be recording and how a video will be released to the public?
Well, yes, we just got an update today on that timeline. Over the weekend, I heard that it would be by the end of the month. Today, I just learned that every officer and agent who does law enforcement for ICE around the country will have one of these body cameras to attach to his or her vest by Wednesday, and that they can expect to be trained and be mandated to carry them out into the field when they make any arrests or do operations by the end of the month. And that's a faster timetable than that 60-day time clock that started after the fatal shooting of a man in Houston in July. And of course, that was followed just 6 days later by another fatal shooting involving someone in a vehicle in Maine. I want you to look at what ICE has said about how they will use it. Their new policy says ICE policy permits expedited release when appropriate and clarifies that it's not appropriate to release footage when doing so could compromise our investigations or privacy. What I've learned about that is that the ICE director, David Ventrella, in this case, would be able to expedite release if they decide that it is within the best interests of the agency or the public to release it. But it could be that if it's under investigation, the public doesn't see it until that investigation concludes.
Why reversing course here? Because I know the Biden administration had piloted body cameras, and the Trump administration stopped that. Now they're instituting it.
Yeah, that's right. The Biden administration started a pilot program, and that meant about 20% of ICE officers did have these cameras. That's why we always ask after these shootings, was there footage, even though we know oftentimes the answer will be no. And that's because the Trump administration and an executive order signed by the president as soon as he took office undid a mandate that would have required every federal agent and any agency across the country to start wearing body cameras. That started to unwind by July when Secretary Markwayne Mullin said after these shootings, he did think they needed to get body cameras out quickly. Important to note, they did not change course after the fatal shootings in Minneapolis in January.
All right, Julia Ainsley for us. Thank you, Julia.
We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.